Learning how to make peanut butter at home is easy. In just a few minutes, you can make homemade peanut butter even without a blender. All you need are a few ingredients and a few quick tips. Here I have 1.5 cups of dry roasted unsalted peanuts, 210 grams as I measure 1.5 cups. Here I have 1 cup off to the side to show you what I consider to be 1 cup. Honestly, when you're learning how to make peanut butter at home, I don't think that using the exact amount of peanuts that I am using is critical. Understanding the process is what's important. Like I said, I am using dry roasted peanuts that are unsalted, but you can use a lot of different peanuts. There are actually quite a few types of peanuts. In regards to the peanuts themselves, there are different varieties. There are Virginia, Valencia, Spanish. I don't know what type these are, but I'm sure it will be fine. Spanish peanuts are supposed to have a little more oil, so they should theoretically be easier to blend. You can use raw or roasted peanuts, but roasting will bring out the flavor. If you have raw shelled peanuts, I would put them on a baking sheet in one layer at 350 for 15 to 20 minutes, stirring once or twice if you want to roast them. You can also do blanched or unblanched peanuts. Blanched peanuts, just like blanched vegetables, are peanuts that have been put into boiling water for a brief period of time and then taken out and cooled down quickly. That's done to remove the skins. These are obviously blanched and roasted. Honestly, some people like the skins, some people don't. Whatever you want to do, I think will be fine. There are a lot of different types of peanut butter. I am going to add some salt. I am going to add 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. I recommend about 1/8, maybe 1/16 of a teaspoon of salt per cup of peanuts. I also have some oil off to the side, just in case these peanuts are a bit dry and the oil isn't coming out of them. Preferably, you would have peanut oil. I am going to use a handheld blender to make my homemade peanut butter today, but if you don't have an immersion blender, you can definitely use a food processor. Like I said, this recipe is really easy. All I'm going to do is I'm going to use my handheld blender to start blending them. So I've pulsed it a few times, and in spite of the peanuts flying up at me at the beginning, now it's all under control. It's been, I would say, 30 seconds. This peanut butter is coming along very nicely. These peanuts are nice and fresh. I'm just going to keep pulsing it until it gets even creamier. I also wanted to mention that when you clean the peanut butter off of the sides of the blade of the immersion blender, or the bottom of the immersion blender, make sure that you clean the peanut butter out from the blade area as well, because it gets stuck up in there. And also the peanut butter that gets stuck to the sides, try to push that down to the bottom. Like I said, some is going to get stuck to the top or stuck to the blender itself. Just keep working that down into the bottom so that the blades can grind that up. After about 5 to 7 minutes of pulsing and scraping, my homemade peanut butter is done. As you can see, it looks absolutely delicious. It's creamy, but it still has little bits of peanuts in there, so it has a very rustic texture. I am very happy with it. I'm going to put it into this little jar. Honestly, I spent more time scraping the blades of the blender, the immersion blender, than actually blending. But that's what you have to go through if you want to make peanut butter at home without a blender. You have to use a handheld blender and you have to do a bit of scraping. Here is my finished homemade peanut butter. As you can see, it made almost exactly one small mason jar. I'm thinking that's about 8 ounces, but I'm not 100% certain. See, it's basically perfectly the jar. This tastes and smells amazing. I'll show you the texture. It's soft, it's creamy, but like I said, it still has little bits of peanuts that give it a very nice homemade rustic texture. This would be great on a slice of bread, toast, bagel, whatever you want. As you can see, learning how to make peanut butter at home is easy. If you follow my simple recipe, you can have your own peanut butter in no time. Although this recipe was really straightforward, one thing I wanted to point out is that sometimes if your nuts don't have as much oil as mine did, when you first start grinding them, it can look like you're on the road to peanut flour or peanut dust rather than peanut butter. If that's the case, just keep grinding them. As you awaken the oils, the dust will turn into a paste in no time. You might have to add a bit of oil, preferably peanut oil, but eventually you will get peanut butter. Like I said, this is a really quick, simple, and fun activity, so I hope that you give it a try. As always, thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye!